I'm 71 years old, and last week I stood in my hallway and cried because I was too tired to walk to my own bedroom. Not sick, not injured, just tired. Bone tired. The kind of tired that sits in your chest like a weight and makes every step feel like you're walking through water. My bedroom is 17 steps from the living room. I counted them once, years ago, when I was rearranging furniture. 17 steps. I used to make that walk 20 times a day, without thinking. Last Tuesday evening I made it halfway and had to sit down on the floor because I didn't think I could make it the rest of the way. That's when I understood. The house hadn't gotten bigger. I'd gotten smaller. I've lived here for 28 years. Raised 2 kids in this house. Hosted birthday parties and holiday dinners and summer barbecues. This place used to feel full, almost crowded sometimes. Now it feels enormous. 4 bedrooms for 1 person, 2 bathrooms I have to keep clean, even though I only use 1. A kitchen with counters I can't reach anymore without the step stool. A basement I haven't been down to in 3 years because the stairs are too steep and what's down there anyway that I really need. A backyard with a garden I stopped planting 5 summers ago because bending down to pull weeds made my back seize up for days afterward. Every room is a responsibility. Every surface needs dusting. Every floor needs sweeping. Every corner holds something that needs maintaining or fixing or remembering. And I'm just one person, moving slower every month, with less energy every season, trying to take care of a space that was designed for a family. It started so gradually I didn't notice it happening. Maybe 3 years ago, I stopped going upstairs to get things I'd forgotten. If I made it all the way down to the kitchen and realized I'd left my reading glasses by the bed, I'd just squint at the newspaper instead of climbing back up. Small trade-off. Practical. Then I started keeping a second set of glasses downstairs. Then a second sweater, because going up to get one felt like too much effort. Then I moved some of my clothes down to the hall closet so I wouldn't have to go upstairs to get dressed. Then I started sleeping in the guest room on the first floor more often than my actual bedroom because I was too exhausted by bedtime to face those stairs. Have you noticed this happening to you too? That slow retreat into smaller and smaller spaces within your own home? I told myself I was being efficient, making life easier. But really, I was surrendering territory. Room by room, floor by floor, my house was beating me. The breaking point came on a Sunday afternoon. I'd been doing laundry, which is something I do every week, same day, same time, for decades. The washer and dryer are in the basement. I carried the basket down, started the load, came back upstairs. When the buzzer went off 40 minutes later, I was sitting in my chair, watching television, and the thought of going back down those stairs made me want to cry. I sat there for 20 minutes trying to talk myself into it. Finally, I got up, made it to the basement door, looked down at those wooden steps disappearing into the dim light below, and I just couldn't. My legs felt like they were made of lead. My lungs felt tight. I closed the door and sat back down. The laundry stayed in the washer for 2 days. By the time I finally forced myself to go get it, everything smelled like mildew and I had to wash it all over again. I didn't tell anyone. Who would I tell? My son lives 4 states away. My daughter calls once a week, but we talk about her kids, her job, surface things. I'm not going to call her up and say I'm too tired to do my own laundry. I'm not going to admit that my house, the house I've lived in for almost 3 decades, the house I cleaned and organized and took pride in, has become too much for me. But it has. It absolutely has. And pretending otherwise doesn't change the facts. I started spending all my time in 3 rooms. The living room, the kitchen, the downstairs bathroom. Everything I needed, I moved into that small circuit. I stopped opening the curtains in the other rooms, because why bother if I wasn't going to be in there anyway? I stopped heating the upstairs in winter because I wasn't sleeping up there. I stopped turning on lights in the hallway because I knew exactly where everything was, and I didn't want to waste electricity on spaces I was just walking through as fast as possible to get back to my small, manageable corner of the house. My world shrank, and the house felt bigger and emptier and colder every single day. When was the last time your house felt like it fit you instead of the other way around? The worst part is the silence. When my husband was alive, there was always some kind of noise. The television in one room while he read the paper, his footsteps upstairs, the sound of him making coffee in the morning. Even after he died, 9 years ago now, I still had people over sometimes, friends for lunch, my grandkids running around. But people stopped coming as often. My friends got older too, got their own problems, their own limitations. My grandkids got busy with school and sports and lives that don't include sitting in Grandma's living room on a Saturday afternoon. Now it's just me and a silence. And in the silence, the house sounds even bigger. Every creak, every settling noise, every gust of wind against the windows, it all echoes. I started leaving the television on all the time, just to have sound, even when I'm not watching it, even when I'm in another room, just to feel like there's something alive in here besides me. Last month, my neighbor asked if I'd thought about downsizing. She said it casually, like she was asking about the weather. She'd just sold her house and moved into a 1-bedroom apartment in one of those senior living communities, 20 minutes away. She said it was such a relief not to have to worry about the yard or the roof or cleaning rooms she never used. She said it felt good to have neighbors close by, to have activities if she wanted them, to have someone checking in. She said I should come see her new place sometime. I smiled and said maybe I would, but I haven't. Because going to see her apartment would mean admitting that I might need to think about that for myself. And I'm not ready. I don't know if I'll ever be ready. This house is mine. I picked out the paint colors. I chose the kitchen tile. I planted the tree in the front yard that's now taller than the roof. My kids' height marks are still penciled on the doorframe in the hallway. My husband built the bookshelf in the living room with his own hands. Every room has a memory. How do you leave that? How do you pack up a life and move into some small, clean apartment with white walls and no history? But how do you keep living in a place that's slowly crushing you under the weight of its own maintenance? How do you keep pretending you can handle it when you're exhausted all the time and you've stopped using half the rooms and you're genuinely afraid of your own basement stairs? These are the questions I ask myself every single day. And I don't have answers. I just have this house that feels too big and this body that feels too small and this growing understanding that something is going to have to change whether I want it to or not. Because here's the truth about living alone after 70. Nobody tells you that the house you loved, the house you raised your family in, the house you thought you'd die in, might become the thing you can't manage anymore. Nobody warns you that independence isn't just about making your own choices. It's also about having the physical energy and capability to maintain the life those choices require. And when your energy runs out before your responsibilities do, you're forced into a corner you never thought you'd be in. I'm in that corner now. Standing in a house that's too big, too much work, too full of empty rooms and stairs I'm afraid of, and tasks I can't complete without hurting for days afterward. And I know, somewhere deep down, that I can't keep doing this much longer. That the moment is coming, maybe soon, where I'll have to make a choice, downsize, Move somewhere smaller, easier, more manageable. Ask for help. Admit that this chapter is ending, whether I'm ready for it or not. But not today. Today, I'm still here. Still managing, barely. Still pretending I've got this under control. Still telling myself that next week I'll have more energy, I'll get to those projects. I'll clean out the upstairs bedrooms. I'll go down to the basement and sort through those boxes. I'll get back to feeling like this house is mine, instead of feeling like I'm just camping out in the corner of something too large for me to hold on to. There's still time to make a decision. To take control before circumstances force my hand. To choose what comes next, instead of waiting until I'm too exhausted, or too hurt, or too scared to choose anything at all. But that window is closing. I can feel it. Every day I'm a little more tired. Every week the house feels a little bigger. Every month I lose a little more ground. If you're watching this and you recognized something in this story, you're not alone. So many of us are living in houses that don't fit us anymore, trying to hold on to independence and familiar spaces and memories, while our bodies tell us it's time to let go. It's one of the hardest parts of aging that nobody really talks about. The loss of place. The end of home as we've known it. If this resonated with you, I hope you'll subscribe. These are the real conversations we need to be having about what it means to get older and what we do when the life we built becomes too heavy to carry. Leave a like if this touched something you've been feeling. Share it with someone who might need to hear it. And please, comment below. Tell me your story. Tell me if you're struggling with this too. Tell me what you've decided or what you're still afraid to face. We're all navigating this together, even in our separate houses. Thank you for listening. Take care.